Thinking about selling your home? Well, here's the million-dollar question. Should you cash in now before the holidays or wait until after the new year? Will your home be the hottest gift on the market this holiday season? Or will it be on the leftover rack in January on clearance? Stick around because today I'm digging into the pros and cons of selling your home before the holidays in this unique market. Hey friends, I'm Chris Nelson, the team lead of the Nelson Home Group, helping buyers and sellers achieve their real estate goals here in the greater Philadelphia area. Now, whether you're new to the channel or not, do me a favor, if you haven't already done so, go ahead and hit that red button and mash that bell while you're at it, because this is the best way for you to be notified when I create or post content. So as I mentioned, if you are currently deciding whether or not you are going to sell your home now before the holidays or wait until after the holiday, I think you're going to find some information that will hopefully answer some of those questions. I'm going to go over some of the pros as well as some of the cons and let you decide what you think is best for you in your given situation. So let's start out talking about some of the pros. If you were to decide to sell your home before the holidays, what are some of the things working in your favor? And the first thing that you have going in your favor is that there's less competition. Generally, there's less houses on the market around the holiday season. A lot of times people, if they haven't successfully sold their home come this time of the year, a lot of people will actually take their home off the market and then decide to resell it the following year. Theoretically, they think they're going to wait until the spring market because many consumers have in their mind that the spring market is the best time to sell. And I'm not here to dispute that, but at the end of the day, you really are going to have less competition statistically if you decide to sell your home before the holidays. So the first thing you have going for you is less competition. Along with less competition, you're probably going to find that you also have more motivated buyers. Buyers that enter the real estate market around the holiday season tend to be a little bit more motivated and aggressive. A lot of times they are trying to meet a deadline. Maybe they're trying to be in the home before the end of the year. There's different reasons for them wanting to do so. Maybe they're relocating jobs. There's a lot of job relocation right around that time as well. But at the end of the day, if you have a buyer on the hook, theoretically, they're probably a little bit more motivated during the holiday season. So if you want a motivated buyer, well, now's the time. Another thing to consider is that right now in Montgomery County, we're starting to see home prices stabilize. And this may sound a little bit odd for a seller. During the last few years, I saw a lot of buyer uncertainty. I saw a lot of buyers stretch themselves thin. And then once they went under contract, they really started to second guess whether or not they overpaid for the property because they really were just competing with so many other buyers that the market and the pricing was just not stable. So right now, in my opinion, the fact that the prices are stabilizing in Montgomery County actually play into your favor. Not only do they play into your favor, but they play into the buyer's favor as well because they just don't have that doubt in the back of their mind. So I'm going to put the market stabilizing as a pro in this scenario. Now, one of my favorite pros for selling right around now or before the end of the year is the tax benefits. I'm not an accountant, so I'm not going to go and start providing legal advice or financial advice. You can defer to your own counsel or accountant for that, but there are some known tax benefits if you can sell your property, and there are also some known benefits for buying a property before the end of the year. But ultimately, taking into consideration tax benefits is another pro if you're thinking about selling your home before the holiday. And the last one is, if you live in this area, there's just something unique about the holiday season. Between the holiday decorations, potential snow on the ground, even taking into consideration lights, whether you light your house up for the holiday, I think there's just something very unique about this time of the year, and it comes off. It's charming, for lack of a better term. So marketing your home or picking the right decor during the holiday season could definitely play into your advantage and really just make your marketing look that much better. So if you're thinking about selling your home, there are 5 pros that you can consider, but along with pros comes some cons. And to talk a little bit about some of the things that will play against you if you decide to sell your home in this market is the limited pool of buyers. So although I mentioned earlier that buyers tend to be more motivated when they're thinking about buying before the end of the year, there's also less buyers making that decision. Statistically, we have seen that A lot of buyers decide to wait until a different time of the year, especially if it's a family or someone who has children. A lot of times they don't want to uproot the kids in the middle of the school year. It's also very cold here in the northeastern part of the country, so it's hard to find your friends to help you move when it's colder. They tend to disappear. But again, limited pool of buyers is something to consider if you're thinking about selling your home. Right now, there's some instability when it comes to interest rates, and that instability creates a little bit of doubt or concern for some buyers. Some buyers are sitting on the sideline trying to figure out exactly which direction the market is going. And for whatever it's worth, it's in our human nature. We always try to time the market for the best outcome. But at the end of the day, none of us have a crystal ball. There's a lot of assumptions being made. Right now, at the tail end of 2024, with mortgage rates being all over the place, it does play against you as a seller. So just something to consider. Another thing to consider is the seasonal slowdown, right? This also ties into the fact that there are less buyers in the market, but seasonal slowdown is like the entire market slows down. A lot of people are on holiday or vacation mode, so it makes it a little bit more challenging to connect with your realtor to get the door open. It makes it a little bit more difficult to connect with your loan officer who needs to provide financial information. The market just seems to be a little bit slower, and if you're anything like me, that can be quite frustrating. So when those moving mechanics start to come into play, even though you are selling your home, you're gonna feel some of that turbulence as well. So things just tend to slow down around the holidays. Another thing to consider is that we're expecting increased inventory in the beginning of 2024. And with this being commonly known, buyers may decide to wait to see what new inventory comes to the market. Not only are we expecting more existing homes to hit the market, we're also expecting for a lot of new construction properties or new construction developments to start in the beginning of the year. So you have to ask yourself, if you were a buyer with that knowledge, would you enter the market now or would you wait? And I think that also ties into whether or not a buyer wants to move or has to move. Earlier in the video, I mentioned that there's a lot of corporate or job relocations or people wanting to be in their home for tax savings. Those are more along the lines of a have to rather than a want to. If a buyer just wants to upgrade or get a bigger home because who knows what their reasoning is, that buyer may not decide to enter the market now. They may decide to wait, knowing that there's going to be more inventory come the new year. Now, this one I want to tiptoe around because I'm not going to get into politics, but it is an election year. A lot of buyers and consumers in general are just uncertain as to what is going to come depending who is in office in 2025. So if you're concerned about the election, or how that is going to impact you selling your home, I have to be honest, I'm a little concerned now as well, because from talking to consumers, I've noticed that there is a lot of uncertainty. Just taking into consideration that it's right around the corner as far as the election goes, well, at the end of the day, who knows? Just keep in mind that it's an election year, and consumers are going to approach things a little bit differently. And then the last thing that I want to mention as a con is that during the winter, which I mentioned earlier is a gorgeous time, it's a beautiful time of the year. If you're not familiar with this northeastern Rust Belt area of the country, during the winter, a lot of times people are going to track a lot of extra dirt in your home. As I mentioned earlier, the snow, it's great to look at. Same thing with the leaves that are on the ground, but that also means that people potentially are going to track that into your home. And if you have carpet, or even if you have hardwood floors, it's going to require for you to do a little bit more upkeep. So if you are thinking about selling your home now, or if you're thinking about waiting, in my honest opinion, it really boils down to what your needs are. So if you have any questions, or if I can be any more specific regarding your exact needs, feel free to let me know. Drop a comment, let me know exactly what it is you're thinking, and I'll do my best to give you some insight. So once again, I'm Chris Nelson, the team lead of the Nelson Home Group, helping buyers and sellers achieve their real estate dreams, goals, whatever you want to refer to them as, here in the greater Philadelphia area. And until next time, take care.